Hello everyone. So this video we're gonna look at the Mononoke Hime storyboards. So I did a few videos of this Studio Ghibli's storyboards. I did Spirited Away and I did Porco Rosso. So this time we do Mononoke. So let me zoom in a little bit more. Let me see how much zoom we're gonna put. Something like that. So let's keep the text and go straight into the book. So I guess you know Mononoke, Princess Mononoke, very famous animated movie from Studio Ghibli. I think it's early Yayoi time. Not completely sure, but here we have the contaminated boar. You have a chase sequence. Yeah, this sequence is really good. I remember how they change the angles and you see them coming out of the forest, and then you focus on the girls. The monster loses focus on the hunter and he tries to get it back. And you get contaminated at this point. like death. It kills the life out of living beings. There's a shaman thing, and the elders of the village gathering. This is a Jomon. This is Jomon buildings. So it's a mix between, yeah, it's from a Jomon tribe, it seems. But there are also Yayoi people in Mononoke. But they have already samurai, so maybe he's going south to find out where all this toxic monster thing is coming from. And it's coming from the Yayoi culture coming to Japan with the new way of living, of thinking, of fighting each other for power and so on, of exploiting nature, of not living so much in harmony with nature. So you see they fight each other. They have clans struggling to get power. So that's why him from his village and Mononoke, they have in common that they are from a earlier culture of Japan, and they see the colonization of their land by a new wave of the Yayoi people coming from Korea, China, and bringing rice culture and the royal bloodlines that are setting up the medieval way of living, that you have lower caste and higher castes, nobles and peasants, and like a way of life that is discriminating between people who will have more or less power. And you see I think the monk is also a symbol of this corruption, because he uses religion more as a tool for power, to find a place of power in the emerging society rather than because of a true faith. Here they start to show Lady Eboshi, who work on the mines. They cut the forest, they dig the ground to get the stones, the coal, the metals to make weapons. They already have like Chinese guns, the early guns. So maybe I don't know, 12th century? I'm not sure. Anyway. And Princess Mononoke is here, living in the mountains with the wolf. It's kind of similar to Native Americans when they try to resist the new Americans coming from Europe. There was some peaceful settlements, but then there was abuse and fighting, and they were wiped out. I think also the Jomon people, the Ainu people, they were pushed north in Japan when the Asians coming from China, Korea, they came to Japan from the south, from Kyushu, and slowly went up. Then they pushed back the Emishi people, the Ainu people further north. Maybe they talk about it in the Ghost of Yotei. I didn't play the game, but maybe they talk about this topic. So here we have the encounter between Mononoke and Ashitaka. The Kodamas, they go into the ancient forest. Kodamas. Look, I have my Kodama here. I bought it in Japan in 2012 in a Tokyo Ghibli shop. It's a water, it's a flower. You can put flower with some water. So the Kuramas and the guys, so they go into the ancient forest. So it's like nature is untouched, is left alone to harmonize itself and find the balance, which is good for the living things, living beings. The forest god. Yeah, I think he did Mononoke just after Totoro, and Totoro was like a more children's story style of talking about nature, and then Mononoke was a more serious approach to the same subject. And Isao Takahata he did Pompoko also on this topic of nature being pushed by human civilization, and animals having to adapt to become closer to humans. And now in Japan, because of the dry, very hot summers they had the last 2 years, so there's less nuts, acorn, and the bears they come more and more into the cities to look for food. So it's like not like Pompoko, but it's like Kumapoko. Kuma means a bear. So this is the human settlement. I think it's iron. They do iron. They mine iron and then they do bullets for the Lady Eboshi guns. So this is very heavy symbol of human civilization and violence that comes with it. Yeah, humans fight with each other, and then they look for means to win over other groups, and then wars happen. People kill each other with weapons that people produce and sell, and it's a whole mess. And we see also that they fight nature also with these weapons. They want to push away nature itself. Very arrogant mindset. And Hayao Miyazaki usually try to bring a little bit of gray areas by showing the humanity of even the antagonist. There's no like real bad guys or in Miyazaki's stories, but they still choose a path that is bringing suffering to others, kind of, while having some reasons of their own to choose to live the way they live. But it, like his movies, it shows usually that even with some humanity, some choices, some paths, they lead to bad outcomes. So like they show how Lady Eboshi is taking care of a leper, people who have leprosy, but she makes them work to produce weapons and guns. So it's a very messy situation. So the sick people are weak and exploited. They are taken care of, but they are like also dependent, and they are ready to produce weapons that will kill other living things. So it's a vicious cycle of toxic destruction. Like nature is destroyed, then it brings leprosy, and the lepers then become dependent. They do weapons that build more nature. So it's like like people smoking, drinking. They feed the sickness in themselves. They don't know how to get out of the vicious cycle. So you see he's getting mad. He realizes the way it's like completely stupid way of this toxic cycle. Makes him mad. It's like a sense of wrath, heavenly wrath, sense of justice. Like sometimes you see how the world is so crazy, it makes your blood boil, but you try to not go crazy. Yeah, here's the monkeys. Yeah, the monkeys coming to stalk the place. Here is the iron oven, kind of the melt where they melt the iron, and it's like ladies, joyful ladies that are doing that. When you really go deep into the meaning of the imagery, the themes, it's really crazy. It's like during the war, in the Second World War or any wars, you have children and women working in factories because the men are fighting. So then you have women who are supposed to bring life. They work on making weapons to kill in some, it's like a little bit counter nature. So you see when she's attacking, Mononoke is attacking the fort by herself, very brave. and she just have a lance and a knife against the weapons, against guns. Here you see the action. This sequence is animated, is really good. You have a sense of speed and flow, and agility of Mononoke is really well done in the movie. And the poor Ashitaka is caught in between the two worlds of nature fighting for itself and the humans trying to tame nature. Yeah, also very famous, very beautiful sequence here. You might remember. I think he's trying to discourage her. He knows that she's gonna be killed if she proceeds with her attack. He wants to protect life. This is the typical Miyazaki character. He's caught in between two fighting sides, be it nature and humans, or humans against humans, or mystical creature with humans. And usually the main character is trying to reconcile both worlds, but both worlds cannot understand each other, and the character is symbolizing us, the humans who watch the movie, to make us think, to make us reflect on our relationship with the life, with nature, with each other. It's really good. She's been hurt and he's getting mad. At this point, he identifies more with the victim. His empathy, his capacity to feel the pain of others is taking over. His logic. So he's gonna defend Mononoke. And even she attacks him, even though he tried to defend her. This also really cool animated sequence, how she jump around. Makes me wanna rewatch it. Here is kind of funny that the demon, the sickness, he kind of is able to channel the energy of the demon, of the toxic monster, and it is like unifying his mind with the demon, and so is able to control the monster. So his violence is like the violence in his arm is controlled by his clarity of mind, his purpose to protect Mononoke. So it's like you think about Gandhi or Martin Luther King, or some very great human beings who did very strong resolution in their mind to fight against injustice, against discrimination, and they managed to channel the anger, the violence, but in a positive way, to improve, to have justice, not to have like revenge, but to have justice. When I was a Buddhist monk, my teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh, he knew Martin Luther King. He met him when he came to USA to call for peace, for America to stop fighting with Vietnam, bombing Vietnam. And so I learned a little bit about Martin Luther King. I think there is a quote from Martin Luther King. It says, like, never let a man hurt you to the point that you hate him. So it's like you have to fight for justice. You have to not be bullied and mistreated. You have to fight for your dignity, because otherwise hate and violence will take over your heart, and you will become like a very violent. There will be only violence left as a response. So that's why there has to be some ways to resist abuse and oppression and so on. So you keep your humanity. You are not so hurt, so abused by others that hatred takes over. So I think is the point where he leaves. He doesn't care. He just leaves with Mononoke. See, it's like a non-violent. He doesn't fight them. He just twists the swords, walk on to the gate, and want to just leave. And then they don't understand. They still want to use violence. And they shot him. They shoot him. Maybe before, but he didn't die for some reason. Yeah, and his adrenaline or Holy Spirit or something is gone. So he collapsed. And she finally understands that he saved her. And the monkeys, they are a little bit possessed. They have the red eyes. She tried to talk to them, but they're a little bit like on the edge of becoming monsters. And Yakul, I think it's Yakul his name, comes to protect his master, friend. Yeah, so then they bring him to the ancient forest, to the forest god. See a scrolling down panel. This is something you can use for manga, for comics. You do one drawing and you make it into going down. Or you can do on the side also. When it comes to the forest, the god of the mountain, the forest god. Like the old, very old deer. And this is one of the old wild boar gods, very big boar. And she helps him to eat, mouth to mouth eating, feeding. So they meet the different groups of the forest, the wolves, the boars, there are the monkeys, the deers, the kodamas. He's not completely cured. I think this is more wars, more fighting. Yeah, this is the clan of the Iron people, and she's fighting against some warlord that wants to take the land or something. The Boers, they are preparing for war to attack. Yeah, they put the paint of war, but they are not very smart, so they're not gonna get good results. But she cannot help it. She chose to go with them to try to help them fight better, I think. But it's pretty bad. I think I remember. Yeah, they use bombs, gunpowder, and so on. See, there is the samurai clan. They invade the iron fort. So he arrives after the battle, I think, of the Boers. They have been wiped out. Yeah. And poor Yakul has been shot with an arrow by these two guys. So he's pretty mad. See the violence take over. So he gets his hand chopped off. And then with the arrow, he chop off his head, I think. Yeah, here. Yeah, it's a massacre for the Boers. With the bombs, they were trapped. And here are the humans' casualties. And this maybe the survivor from the iron fort. And there are more. Oh yeah, big bomb here. Big trap. And they try to climb up. See more bombs. Rocks with gunpowder. Yeah, Lady Eboshi, she can be so ruthless. She just see one side. She just think about protecting her people with a very narrow-minded view of the global reality. She doesn't realize she's hurting nature all around. And usually when things get so bad to the point that everything is collapsing, then slowly human beings, they start to be so partial. They start to work together to try to dissolve the tension, the violence, the killings. Usually, yeah, it's the same in reality. It takes a lot of suffering for your humans to learn. Yeah, so the patriarch or matriarch of the Boer clan is very hurt. And the fake. Yeah, they use the skin of the Boers to attack. They start to be contaminated with the monster. And Mononoke is swallowed also by the kind of like demon of violence or something. It's like a nature going crazy to regulate itself against aggression. So like calamities and natural disasters and so on. It's like nature regulating unbalanced situations. She's trying to talk to the board beyond the layer of possession by the demon. the wolves also come to attack the fake boar. Yeah, strong image. I guess he has to go through the layer of violence and confusion going on to find the Mononoke, to get her out. It's pretty intense, huh? Yeah, I think if I have to choose one Studio Ghibli as my favorite, it's hard to pick, but if I had to choose, I think I would choose the Mononoke, Princess Mononoke. I think it's the story that illustrates the best Hayao Miyazaki vision, insight on life, and it's like a timeless story. You see the eyes completely change when the forest god comes. It's like all the violence, anger is just washed away. It's very calm, and but he's like so like gone beyond that. The god of nature just it kills what's left of life energy in the boar. It's like life and death. It's crazy, huh? The humans, they want to kill the god of nature. And they manage to shoot. And you see, when the god of nature is like killed, it becomes a monster also. It's like corrupt the fabric of nature. It's kind of like the pollution when the humans transform nature for their convenience so much and so much. They concentrate some elements so much that it becomes very toxic and becomes a source of disease and death for life. It's like if you eat too salty or too sweet or too fat, or there are too much mercury or iron or the radioactivity is too concentrated. There's always some waste produced out of industrial manufacturing. And now, yeah, it's the god of nature. He has no head anymore. She's very desperate, angry. Everything is destroying itself. Nature is attacking everything everywhere. Yeah, he's coming for the iron place. Invading the lake around the fort. He is swallowing the iron cast furnace where they heat the metal to make their weapons. I think in the decades and the centuries to come, we will see a lot of stuff like that. Cities being flooded and industrial areas being destroyed by flooding and storms and earthquake, landslide, and Final Fantasy VII also cover this topic in a different way, but you have a similar principle of like nature forces waking up and destroying what humans are doing in order to find the balance again. In Final Fantasy VII, it's the live stream, the weapons, and in Mononoke it's the forces of nature, the god of the forest. So they found the head of the forest god and they offer it back to the god, the headless god. He is both now. His no head is become corrupt. He brings more stains. They are completely stained. But anyway, if nature is toxic, then humans will be toxic too. So the only way is to help nature and then nature will become healthy again and help human beings. There's no separation between nature and life and humans. So now the god is at his head again, but he's very tired. Collapse. It's like a big storm, destroys everything. Yeah, it's like create a big storm. And then the life come back. It's like cleanse the world from the pollution. It's a bit like this in the end of Final Fantasy VII. I won't spoil everything if you don't know, but it's a similar conclusion. And it came out in very close. I think Mononoke is 1998, and Final Fantasy VII is 1997. It was the time when the thing about global warming was starting to be talked about, like more publicly, more broadly, like Al Gore for his presidential candidacy. So this is the Mononoke. Please like. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.